Good evening, Excellencies, honorable speakers, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to ASIP's special webinar. My name is Puthi, a project coordinator at Anchor Social Innovation Park, ASIP, and it is a great honor to be your moderator for tonight's webinar. Now, before moving forward, allow me to briefly introduce ASIP. ASIP is Anchor Social Innovation Park, a social enterprise committed to developing knowledge on social innovation while providing sustainable and innovative solutions to local Cambodian enterprises. At ASIP, we believe that innovation and youth empowerment play a critical role in shaping Cambodia's future economy. Tonight, we are gathered to discuss the topic of great relevance, which is youth and innovation driving Cambodia's future economy. This session will explore how young people are at the forefront of innovations and entrepreneurship, the challenges they face, and the opportunities that lie ahead. Through insightful discussions with our distinguished speakers, we will uncover the strategies for empowering the next generation to drive sustainable growth and development in Cambodia. To help us navigate through these topics, we have privilege of hearing from three distinguished speakers who will bring up deep expertise in education, finance, and entrepreneurship. Introducing our speaker, Mr. Suy Makara. Mr. Suy Makara serves as a Deputy Director of NUM International College at National University of Phnom Penh. And Mr. Alywin Oh is the CEO of Brighton Academy Network. And Ms. Theng Sokleap is a finance professional currently working in a financial service industry. We are truly honored to have such esteemed speaker with us today. Now, before narrowing our discussion to the questions, I would like to give floor to Mr. Suy Makara to reintroduce himself and about his role.
Okay, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So nice to see you again. I think we had met each other quite a few times, and thanks for MC for introducing me. And so good evening to Miss Sokleap. I never met her before, and our lady and gentlemen. My name is Makara Suy. So I have been working for the National University of Management for about like 10 years. And my main faculty is at NUM International College. So my major role is like part of this is teaching, but beside that, I mainly involved in scholarship and job consultancy to provide like the assistance to our student. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suy Makara. Now, I would like to have Mr. Alywin Oh for the reintroduction.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Alwyn, and good to see all of you today. Yes, I've known Mr. Makara for a while now, see him around in school. So, yes, I am the founder and lead trainer at Brighton Academy. And in Brighton Academy, we are a non-profit training organization that focus on the 21st century skills training. We focus a lot of our work on university students because we believe that they are the next generation leaders of Cambodia. And our vision here is to develop future-ready leaders here in Cambodia. So that's what we want to do. I've worked closely with NUM, especially NUM IC, and had the privilege to lecture at with the GI students for the past 2 semesters. So it's been a joy working with the young people very closely. And we've also worked with the high school students as well. So we have established 2-year curriculums that we conduct with grade 11 to grade 12 students to help them prepare for the university, because we see that there is a gap here where young people have no idea what they want to study and what they want to do in future. So we hope to be able to do our part in plugging that gap. And besides that, in the region, Brighton Academy also works in Thailand and in the Philippines as well. So we have teams, volunteers from Singapore going up regularly to these 2 countries to conduct trainings as well. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alwyn. Now, lastly, I would like to have Ms. Theng Sokleap for her introduction.
Thank you, Puthi, and it's nice meeting Mr. Makara and Mr. Alvin. Nice to meet you. And again, my name is Sokleap, and I'm currently working in the finance industry as a senior executive financial planning and also reporting. Basically, my professions is mainly in finance, and I graduated from a BA in entrepreneurship and management. But besides this professions, I've been working in other several social projects that involve with youth, SME, and promoting innovation in SME. So I think that's why I'm here. And I think today maybe I can share some of my perspective in terms of like I myself also a youth, so probably maybe I can share some of my perspective, like how it can help other youth as well in promoting innovation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So without further ado, let's move into our discussion questions. Now, before we move to narrowing down to the questions, I would like to briefly talk about this topic real quick. In recent years, we know it, Cambodia has witnessed a surge of young innovators and entrepreneurs who are shaping industries, launching startups, leading social change. With access to technology and education and global networks, youth today are more and more equipped to becoming change makers. However, challenges such as limited access to resource, mentorship, and industry exposure still pose a significant barriers to their success. Now, for the first questions is, how can youth development programs empower young people to become innovators and change makers? So I would like to invite Mr. Suy Makara for this questions. Thank you. So the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. I think regarding the youth innovation, the linking between university and the industry, could you hear me clearly, right? You hear me clearly? Clearly enough?
Yes,
Yeah,
clear,
okay.
loud and clear.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So the linkage between the university and the industry play an important role to shape how the market look like. So I believe youth innovation could take part in the social development, not only in Cambodia, but I think in most of the country, especially the developing country like Cambodia. Since we are a country that, have more younger population, since the median age of Cambodia is around 26, if I'm not wrong. So half of the population is below 26. So youth engagement play an important role to shape how business look like in Cambodia. So I think without this kind of like the platform between the university and the industry linkage, the innovation and the business or entrepreneurship could not, work well, and it could be, a bit left out of the society. Since although we have so many, I can say SMEs recently, however, we need more, more catch up in terms of platform, regulation, advice, mentorship. I think more that we need to develop. And as a known international colleague, we have one program we call Business Model Competition, where our university have been involved like more than 10 years, where Steve is the main, person in charge in that. So we have found that this competition have played an important role to shape how business look like in Cambodia. Although it will not, we would say that you join this program, you will become the successful entrepreneur. However, it provides the insight of how business look like and how are the marketing insight beside what they have learned from the like theory and practically how are the different. So I think it play an important role. And right now, Agnum International colleague, like I met Alvin at the hobby, we really now in need of more expertise in any sector that you believe that it can save, not only our program, but our student to see, or, how the real world is. Because sometimes we only learn about, the Western world, all the book are conducted in the business world, like Western world, more than Asian world. So sometimes this cannot apply in Cambodia. So there is something that we call the market demand that I think not only Cambodia, but many countries in Asia really looking for that. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the insightful answer. Now, Mr. Alwyn Oh, do you have any comments regarding to these questions or any follow-up questions regarding Mr. Makara response?
Can you repeat the question again? Because I think that there's a deeper point that you wanted to bring out, right? About the collaboration.
Yeah, the questions goes like this. How can youth development programs empower young people to become innovators and change makers?
Yeah, so you're asking about the program itself, right? How do these
Yes.
programs empower them? I think what I see here in Cambodia is the opportunity for young people to have a platform to learn new things, to learn skills, and having a safe space for them to actually try and test out their entrepreneurial skills or their entrepreneurial minds. Because without that kind of space, they will not be able to, well, try it out, right? Because it's either you do it and find some money to get started with a business, or you don't. And there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of unknown. So I think when you have this kind of programs going on, it really helps lower the barrier to entry, and it helps these young people, well, gain some network, gain some confidence, and hopefully after the program, they would have the kind of courage to go and try out new business ideas on their own as well. And maybe even meeting a mentor through that program would help them to make progress as well. Yeah, so I wanted to comment more on the program itself.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alwyn. And move to Miss Theng Sokleap. Do you have any comments regarding to these questions?
Thank you, Puthi. I think for what I have to mention more, probably similar to what Mr. Alvin just said. I think it's depending on the program itself. And I think youth program development is kind of broad. You know, it can be anything, any topic. So whether if you ask whether youth development programs can lead those young people to become an innovator, I think the heavy duty will lies onto the program developer. Like what is the target that you aim from developing this program? But I think there are a lot of opportunities as well. They can focus either on technology, they can, or probably not even a tech focus at all. I mean, the main focus of the program, from my perspective, I think it should be something that is real based, a real situation in the society for them to come up. So I think that could influence those young people in order to become an innovator more, or just to be a change maker, even though it doesn't have to be big, but it could be a change maker in their circle or in their community. Yeah, I think that would help.
Wow, thank you very much for the fruitful answers from our three honorable speakers. Now, let's move to question 2. What challenges do young innovators and entrepreneurs face in accessing resource and mentorship? So I would like to invite Ms. Theng Sokleap for this questions.
Thank you again. I think for the challenges for both entrepreneurs and youth, right? Is that your question? Sorry.
Yes, challenges for young innovators and entrepreneurs.
Okay. I think one of the top answer, and since my experience doing some project with SME as well, I see that one of the main problem that they raise upon our questions is that they went to financial. They went saying that, oh, I'm lack of funding. I don't have enough funding. I don't have enough capital to continue this and that. But one more thing that from my perspective that I learned from them is that sometimes it needed a clear image and like more structured planning. So what they're struggling with is, of course, one is finance, but the other one is education. I think it needed to be well educated as well. Even though you have a a good idea, coming up something really creative, but you need to make sure whether those creative idea really creates a value for someone or something using it. So I think the main challenges for them is also identifying the market. You need to know whether things that you want to innovate it or or those entrepreneurs or SME or other enterprises that are doing the business and want to come up with something new product or new service, you need to make sure that those things really answer to the needs of the customer in the real world. It's not just about things that you want to do. And the third thing is that I think in Cambodia itself, we are still very narrow in terms of our networking for innovations and sharing idea. So I think maybe like an innovation hub could be one of the solution as well. It doesn't have to be a physical, it could be virtual, where it's just a place for everyone to share their connections and discuss their ideas. Yeah, and I hope this would answer your question, Puthi.
Thank you very much. But I do have some questions regarding the your idea about innovation hub. Do you have any let's say more detail to this? It's interesting to hear this innovation hub. Can you please explain it a little bit more?
Okay, innovation hub in the terms that I meant here is that it could be just like a community or a space where those innovators or people who have some idea or want to propose or want to find like a funding for something, but they don't know where to go or don't know how to start it. Probably they have could be youth having a really great idea and they want to propose for a funding and they just don't know how to do it. But the main problem here is that they don't have networking. So I think the innovation hub that I meant by here is could be like a group of area of a place where I think it could just be like a group on social media would work as well. It doesn't have to be like a physical place or an office where this people who have the same interests finding the same solution could come together and share their experiences and give each other's information. And it could also come up with those who have, for example, who's very professional in terms of tech. They can come in and share their ideas or their professions to all those who are interested in that area. So I think it could help youth to innovate more and to solve the struggle as well.
So the innovation hub is sort of like a platform where people with great ideas come together just to network so that they can share their ideas and maybe turn those ideas into actions, to put it simply.
Yes, that could be that is one part of it because the hub could be it could be come in different forms depending on the one who created it. It either could be like physical as well, like creating programs, training, such as like that.
Thank you very much. So, Mr. Alwyn O, do you have any comments regarding to these questions? Or I can repeat the questions again if you don't quite get it in the first start.
No, I just want to, yeah, I think adding on to what Sokleap said, I think the idea of a hub, innovation hub or an incubator community, but even before establishing that, I think there's the need for educating young people to understand that, to dare to speak up, to know that their opinions and their feedback, these are all valid, and that there's a safe space for them to bring that up. Because I think working with a lot of young people, there's a trend that young people tend to self-censor, right, or self-filter, thinking that their ideas are not good enough or that they should not tell their ideas to people. That's one. Yeah, or the other one is competition, right? For fear that somebody might steal their idea and run away with it. And not realizing that whatever idea that they have at its infancy, at the early stage, is not a great idea at all, right? Any idea is just an idea, and you need time for it to grow. You need time for it to, you need to iterate. You need to fail fast, fail forward, and iterate so that that idea can fully form and take shape. Yeah, but a lot of young people thinking that, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. I have a great idea, and they either don't dare to share because they are fearful that people will criticize them or judge them, or they are not willing to share because they are competitive, right? So they keep it to themselves, and actually not realizing that when they do that, they are missing out on an opportunity for people to kind of give them feedback on their idea to make it even better than before. So so an innovation hub or an incubator kind of a community supposed to provide that safe environment for the young people to have access to either resources, mentorship, even networking opportunities, or even some kind of training, right? That they might need as young entrepreneurs and innovators. But more importantly, I think we need to educate the young people to see that they can speak up, right? They can share their ideas, and they should, if they have an idea, that they should be able to share it out and test it out with an audience. Yeah, so I think that's what I wanted to add on to this point.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alwyn. And Mr. Suy Makara, do you have any comments regarding to
Yeah.
our two speakers?
Yeah, thank you so much. I agree with the idea from Sokleap, like incubator center. I think in Cambodia we have that. But to me, I have another idea is that many young teenagers, they have a new idea. They have, they want to do this or that. But one of the main challenges for them is the idea after they have this kind of idea. What are the next steps? Second, I see many young teenagers recently they want to do it faster, not like step by step, as a step by step. They just want to do something like and make it happen immediately. So this is something that I feel like the young teenager right now, they really want to push themselves so much. I can see not all, but I would see most of the teenager right now, they feel this way. And secondly, I found that many there are several company who could take part in this kind of like incubator as well. But I would like to see more, more from the private sector, because recently at NUM International College, also National University of Management, we have been involved with a lot of like Khmer enterprise, in which there are some programs that they allow students from NUM International College or student from the National University of Management to take part in competition. But I would find one thing that is still lacking is we need more company involved. So although their idea is successful after they join the training, but I feel like somehow, the platform like Alwyn had mentioned, it's not there. Second, I think we lack of research and development innovation, so the capacity for innovation, it needs a lot of money. So to me, it needs time to build this. Even at our university, we need more investment from there as well. Since we have done a lot of business competition, but we still need more, investment from somehow or like innovation program or some kind of like mentorship program. We need more from this, because young student normally they have curiosity to do something, but if they have problem stuck along the way, some may stop. And this is, so if they stop, who can tell them to continue? And this is I see the main problem. And secondly, certainly I feel the demand from the market and the demand from the youth could not be matched in the society. Like I see after the COVID-19, a lot of digital platform have been used for many private company, but Cambodia lack of the technical expertise. So where we can start from this? So this is, I think, we should work together, not from public sector, but even private sector as well. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suy Makara. But I do have some follow-up questions since you are the director of NUM and you host a lot of competitions. I would like to know if uh, competitors, competitors who graduate from the competition, do they have successfully opened their own business because they compete, they give up their ideas, and after they um, graduate from the competition, do they use their ideas to develop a business that is sustainable? That's my question.
Okay, from our experience, actually, not all would do that, continue to do that. Like I mentioned, is financially the lack of that. Secondly, during the competition, they form as a group. So not all the member have the same, idea, but come up with one idea to compete. So after competition, after they graduate, some would follow to, job opportunity. Yeah, some still keep doing that. So not all would succeed in that, but I see the impact of doing this kind of competition is that they have, something that they would like to continue. So one of the key insight from this competition I found is that most of the students who join the competition, they really want to look far after what they have done. But what they lack is the financial resolve and the mentorship from this. And I can see some business competition, some alumni like I think Brown founder, Mr. Chang Wenlian. He used to be the alumni for this competition as well. So if you ask, he have won the competition? No, it's not about the competition. The competition is not about winning, it's about the lesson learned. So for business competition, normally what I have learned from they have done so far since I'm not in charge, but mostly they always ask about what are the lessons that you have learned. So normally this competition, they really need, if you have that conducted this kind of competition, have you asked the user, the kind user second, have you have any, lesson that you have failed before? Have you changed that? So that is the message from the competition. So it's not go deeply to the real one, but at least show them what is going on, because competition may not just started and then successful. It needs time. And secondly, I see many teenagers want to make it rough, but competition or business, it's not easy. Second, the I think the preparation to become entrepreneur is different from what they believe. Because I see many students even come into our program, when you ask them, they want to be entrepreneur. But if you ask them how they talk in class, what are the communication skills they have taken, they do not even talk in class. So how you can become entrepreneur? So I see young teenagers said they want to be there, but their personality, type, we will not say you have to be there, but at least you know what it is. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. This actually opens up a new perspective. So joining a innovation competition is not about winning, it's about learning throughout the journey of going to the competition. Very interesting. Thank you. And moving to our next discussion questions. So what are the essential skills should young people develop to thrive in the future of the economy? So I would like to invite Mr. Alywin Oh for this questions.
Yeah, I thank you. I think the few key skills. I think firstly, critical thinking skills. Young people should learn how to look at situations and be problem solvers, thinking of how to solve the problem rather than just looking at something and grumbling about it and complaining about the situation, but to go a step further. So critical thinking skills will be very essential. Um, I think because we talk about education system, I think from young, they are not prepared for that, right? The education system is not positioned that way to train up critical thinking skills in the young people. Maybe when they hit a certain school, they go to a certain school, then they have such programs that teach them critical thinking skills or push for that. So I think that's one thing that they would really need. Second is communication skills. Like what Mr. Makara said just now, the students don't even speak up in class. And it's not about what kind of personality you have, but recognizing that if you don't speak up, then you're not going to be seen or heard, right? So learning how to firstly speak up, secondly, how to speak well or speak properly enough to be understood, and communicating whether in written form or in spoken form is essential. Yeah, so I think these two skills, in a sense, are quite core already in terms of helping them look forward to the future. I think one last thing to add would be being self-aware, right? Being self-aware, having the ability to reflect on like what are your core values, what are your own strengths and limitations, and to work on those things, right? Whether you are leveraging your strength or improving on the areas that you're not so good in, so that you do not jeopardize yourself, and being aware of how you are going forward. Especially for young people, I think these days being bombarded by social media, there's so much input going on all the time, and so many messages being sent all the time, right? So having that kind of self-awareness, knowing what resonates with you, what do you really align with, and staying true to that and discovering that, I think that's essential for a young person as they are growing up, maturing, knowing which path to take, which direction to take. Yeah, so I think these three things are core for a young person to have.
Thank you so much. So you've mentioned critical thinking, communication, and self-aware. So these are sort of like the three fundamental skills that young innovators need to have. So communication itself is very broad, and we do it all the time, but it's funny that young innovators needs to have the skills. So do you have any tips on how can you improve your communication skill, especially as an entrepreneur? Thank you so much.
Tips, I think firstly you need to learn the skill, right? Firstly, you need to learn how to talk. So I think if you join like pitching competitions, these are good platforms to learn, really being thrown into the deep end to learn how to pitch, how to, stand on stage in front of people, basically force yourself to do some public speaking. The other thing is to practice, right? To practice. There's no way that you can learn communication by staying silent, right? So there's really no way to say that I want to improve my communication skill when you don't try to communicate. So really it's about attending a workshop, attending a training, and not just think that you have acquired a skill just by attending a workshop. You have to go and put it into practice, right? So yeah, like last month, I did a session, a training on just simple networking skills, right? Networking and how do you have small talk for students who are in the Masters of Law, and just having the whole classroom, most of them saying that they don't dare to do it, they're fearful, they've never done it before, but this is what they want to learn, right? So my encouragement to them is after the session that they have to go and do it, right? At least talk to one stranger a week, or force yourself to go to a networking session and get to know three persons. Not just go to a networking session, talk to no one, leave it and say, I attended a networking session. You have done nothing, right? So to really put yourself out there, to try and speak to someone, to try to communicate, learn something new. Yeah, I think that's how you actually pick up communication skills, not by going for classes, but actually practicing and doing.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alywin Oh. Mrs. Sokleap, do you have any comments regarding to this, or do you have any points to add on?
Okay. I'd say I totally agree on what Mr. Alon just said in terms of communication, because that was what I did for myself as well. I was naturally not a person who like very open in terms of speaking, but that's what I do as well. I attend of like social works and also like debate class, pitching and public speaking. So that's probably helped a lot as well. And answering to put the questions before this is that the skills that help young people prepared for the future economy. I have a few things to add on. I think mine is the same with what Mr. Alvin just mentioned in terms of like critical thinking and problem solving, because that is one of the, I would say, main soft skills for everyone that they should have. And it's also like the core soft skills for innovation as well. So if you're not curious about something, you don't solve something, innovation doesn't happen. So that's one. And I think I want to add on in terms of digital literacy. If everyone follow about the World Economic Forum that they just host on like last January, the end of this January, you will see that a lot of topic that has been discussed on those big people in all around the world, their topic discussed is really important. So I encourage everyone to follow those as well. So they mention a lot about digital. And in here, digital literacy, I think everyone, at least you need to know how to use the basic of digital for the daily life and the daily platforms, be able to use that properly because it's really important. And the other one, I think it's about entrepreneurial mindset, just like Mr. Makara mentioned. It's sometimes to become an entrepreneur, you doesn't have to be a person who outspoke a lot or good at speaking, but it's about the mindset. I don't know how you're gonna gain through it. It requires a lot as well, so it's hard to tell. And I think the other one is about sustainability as well. Learn about that a lot because the world needs to involve with this topic from now on and going forward. And I think last, it could be very personal that I want to tell everyone is about financial literacy. All of the business that you just mentioned that they're struggling with finance, I think financial literacy is important for young people as well to for personal life and for business in terms of financial, personal finance, corporate management, and also other business finance. If you have these skills, you have the innovation, and you can, I'm sure that you can thrive through the future economy. That's all from me.
Yeah, regarding digital literacy, it is a crucial skill to have in our age because since we are bombarded with artificial intelligence, we need to know how to utilize those technology like ChatGPT to incorporate our work to make our work flow smoothly and faster. So, Mr. Swimagara, do you have any comments or anything do you want to add regarding this question?
Can you repeat the question again?
It should be, what are the essential skills should young people need to develop for the future economy?
Okay, I have come up with the same idea with Arvin and Sokleap, but I would add one more thing beside critical thinking, problem solving, communication skill, and like you said, financial literacy. This one is so important. I always ask my simple question to my student because some students sometimes they outspend, every month. And he said, you want to be entrepreneur, but just normal, saving, they could not do it. So it's part of that. And second, I would say one of the key important to become, a person in this current century as well is, I think, language ability. I see many business men or entrepreneur in Cambodia. I see many guys would not say they have the best language competency, but at least they can speak 3 or 4 language or 2. I was so surprised. I met the CEO of Sabai, and he also now own the dairy farm, Kirisu, near Phnom Tamal. I was surprised. He speak fluent Chinese, and then he speak Chinese with Singaporean, who I brought with them on the study tour with Singaporean team. He speak fluently. My God. English, Chinese, I'm not sure how many languages he could speak. That's why he's one of the successful entrepreneur in Cambodia. So language ability is very important because if you could speak the language, the connection from entrepreneurship will be there. Because although you speak English, but some people, they do want to talk more in English. Some people, because not everyone want to do that because everyone have different personality. So I think language ability is also one of the key important. Yeah, thank you so much.
Very interesting. Yes, I could never thought that language could play a crucial role in becoming an entrepreneur. Yes. So moving to the next question, how can youth-led initiatives can be scaled up to create more opportunities for young people in Cambodia? So I would like to invite Mr. Soy Magara for these questions.
I think there should be some kind of like more program like you question number one. I think question number one is a bit away from the question. Should we have more educational program, that allow more young teenager to participate, give more idea and then pitch their idea and then they can have this opportunity to show their strengths. So I see recently many young teenagers want to, show off, unlock their potential. But sometimes where is the platform? Secondly, uh, many young teenagers from the province, because I was born in Kampong Cham, I would say, back to me 16 or 17 years ago, I would not dare to talk in public. So I feel a lot of teenagers coming from the province, they have a hard time to change, their behavior, their attitude from the one who do not talk much in the public and come here to be more confident in public speaking. So I see a lot of things that we could improve our youth by let them participating many extracurricular activity because at NUM International College also the National University of Management, we have every project every year with Singapore Polytechnic. And we found out that many students who have finished this program, they are more outspoken, they are more confident, and secondly, they are more contributive. I would say when they want to contribute, they could learn something. I think this is the thing that the youth now should take part. I see their potential, but I see some teenager, they do not want to contribute. So this program, like I mentioned with Singapore, there are many great students who want to go. But during the interview, when we ask them, you're gonna stay in the province for 2 nights and 3 days, you're gonna experience maybe electricity cut off during the night. You're gonna wait or queuing for the bus, taking a bus or something. Some students did not want to do that. And this is the thing that is quite opposite to the reality. If you don't want to take part, how can you find your strength? By taking part, you will find your strength. So I see extracurricular activity, joining social community will bring more insight to the youth, also the young teenager, for many areas for their improvement. Yeah, thank you.
Can I add, I want to add on to that when talking about scaling up, because yeah, you're talking about how do we scale up these programs. I think I'm sure you know of Unipreneur. So Unipreneur by Kamai Enterprise is something that has been run quite successfully over the past 3 years. Yeah, so I think last year was they launched the third season in end of the year. So I think initiatives like that really help to promote innovation in Cambodia. And I think the last one, the idea is to expand the program to cover even more universities. So bringing even more youth all across Cambodia to come together to get onto the whole like innovation platform and foster that kind of like entrepreneurial spirit. So I think that those kind of programs, yeah, they are one way to do that. The other way is And then I think after the kind of programs end, how do these universities carry on that would be what we're talking about, right? What's the next step? So I think following the kind of unipreneur program, it'll be good to see universities take on that innovation, entrepreneurial kind of attitude by having their own like kind of innovation lab, right, or their innovation hub within the university, and not just a lab or yeah. So that kind of initiative would be to then foster problem solving skills and perspective within the university, right? So I think NUM has an iLab, right, that talks about that, does innovation and stuff like that. But really having a kind of platform where youth, young people within the university are encouraged to come in to then think about how do they solve problems within the university itself firstly, right? Because that is a safe space, that is an immediate safe environment where they can put their brains, their minds to thinking, oh, is there a problem in, or is there an area in the university's functioning, operations, or life of the students that can be improved, that can be worked on, and that they have given that kind of safe space and environment to voice their ideas, opinions, given an opportunity to say, hey, you want to work on a project that could enhance student life experience in the school. And then maybe the school itself can set aside a certain budget for some of these projects that get the green light. That in itself, right? You don't need everything to be pushed towards business, 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 right? Because we're just trying to foster that innovative entrepreneurial attitude that these young people will have or that can sharpen. So even within the school itself, you could create environments like that or communities like that for to foster that kind of innovation and entrepreneurship. Post After all these big programs ended, universities itself could take on, that kind of responsibility and initiative as well. Yeah, so that's what I want to add on.
Miss Sokleap, do you have any comments regarding to these questions?
I think it's not really a comment, but more like a confirmation to all the ideas that Mr. Makara and Mr. Alvin just said. I think a youth lead initiative projects could like, of course, it gives them confidence to youth who joined it in whatever way. Like they join in, they do activities or whatsoever. At least they get to introduce to themselves to new people. And I think it also helped them in terms of like leadership and teamworks. You go out there, you do some projects and you do some work together. It's the kind of skills that probably you didn't get it from like the academic field, but it needed to experience it. It needed to do it to gain all those skills. And I think it also helped them expand their like connection and networks. You never know this person you met in this program and like could expand for other connections. And I do agree that it also help promotes to innovation as well. They probably did not think about it now, but what the experience that they join in the program or doing this kind of like project helps them come up with some sort of like innovations in the future. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your answer. Now, so let's move to the next questions. How do you think universities and academic organization play a central role in empowering youth to innovate further? So I would like to invite Mr. Alwyn for this question.
Yeah, so I think similar to what I mentioned earlier about, having the schools, the universities take the lead on that, right? So I think entrepreneurship innovation is not just a course in itself, right? It's not just a module, a course that you take, you study, you graduate your certificate on. It is really the way you think about things, right? That you walk into any space, you walk into any situation thinking, how can I make this better? Right. So it's really having that curiosity to learn, that desire, the desire to learn, that kind of discipline to follow through and finish what you start to do, and that kind of desire for excellence in whatever you do. So I think for me, I think those are three very core values that any innovator, entrepreneur needs to have. Correct? Like a desire to learn. You can talk about curiosity, discipline to finish, right? Which is basically your discipline to follow through with what you start rather than give up halfway. So that is about perseverance, about grit, and then that kind of drive for excellence. Where whatever you do, you put in 100% effort, not just a half pass. 50% effort and then expecting great results. I think Makara mentioned that just now about people giving up easily, doing like half effort and expecting great results from that effort. Yeah, so I feel that these are the three things in terms of attitudes and or values that young people need to have. And definitely those are things that university programs can drive, right? So it's not something that you just teach, but in everything that you do, you can foster that kind of attitude in the students, right? How do they approach their studies? How do they approach their projects? How do they approach working together as a team? Yeah, these are things that can be factored into the whole curriculum and any programs that they run in terms of school culture even. Yeah, so I think those are the things that universities, I would say, would be able to really drive into the students. Yeah, so it's not just a course, right? It's a whole culture that they want to establish within the students themselves.
Thank you very much for your insightful discussion. So, Ms. Theng Sokleap, do you have any comments regarding to this?
I think for university or like academy organization, what one thing that I want to see more is open for opportunities or like creating more programs, which I believe now we have a lot as well, but I think it could be more. And I believe that forming just like Mr. Alwyn just said, it's more about how you shape the whole program. It's not just only about learning from like what other people just said, what other people write, or theory, but you needed to implement the real world case scenario or a real world project, put on a project to these students or this group of who joined the program. You go on and work on in the real life, how it's going to be implemented, how people react about it, how people think about it, and take all those real world experiences as a major course. I think that would help more in innovation, because if you want to work on with innovation or creating something new that could have really impact to the people using it, you need to go directly to them, not just like working on a project on a paper and present it. That's all. I think it needed to be more practical and you go out and do it.
Thank you so much. Mr. Soy Makara, do you have anything to add on to Ms. Sokleap?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Puthi. I would like to add a little bit regarding this kind of the relationship between the private sector and the university. Right now, I see many university now try to link between the industry, the company, and the education at the university. Somehow, I really want to see more company to be more involved, more than that. Because if you have involvement just within the course, how about after the course? So if you have this within the course, the course or curriculum, they can even hire them become a staff or internship or more than that. So right now we have more internship from company, but there are some company who still are not so open yet to this. So I think in the future, if all the company are open for this, it will be fruitful for every stakeholder, I think. Yeah, thank you.
I think you are muted, Puthi.
Yeah, but Mr. T. Mr. Puthi, you unmute.
Oh, excuse me for the technical error. I couldn't get my mic to work. Sorry. So I think that was the last questions. So we do have one question from our audience. It should be, what should be the right approach to help build up motivation or push young entrepreneurs forward?
I
Alvin, you have.
think,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's not so like there's no one answer to this, right? It's not so straightforward. You can't just say, okay, this is the motivation. It must be in a sense like you have to take a multifaceted approach to this. In terms of trying to motivate and push young entrepreneurs. So a few things that I guess we can think about. Firstly, would be role models, right? Having role models to inspire the next generation to see that, hey, you guys can do it, right? Like if you have an idea, if you're willing to work hard and make the sacrifice, you can be as successful. You can get there. And of course, not just role models, but you can couple it with mentorship programs. So I think that's something that is quite lacking in Cambodia. The idea of mentoring, right? The idea of like, yeah, the older generation, the successful generation, the people who have, went through the process and learned the lessons, being able to give back to the next generation and mentor them. I think that is something that is starting to pick up in Cambodia. It's not that, it's not non-existent, but it's still in its early stages. So I think that's something that we need to do more in terms of having mentorship and role models, cultivating the entrepreneurial mind from a young age. So that's the second one, right? Like I talked about schools, universities, incorporating entrepreneurial mindset and perspectives into their curriculum. So it might not just be a course that you teach, but in everything that you do, how do you incorporate that concept of critical thinking, problem solving, working together to solve problems and come up with solutions. So that's another one that I think would be helpful to motivate young people. I'm sure Sokleap mentioned about funding, financial literacy. Those are things. Digital literacy, we can add those things on as well. But one more thing would be reducing barriers to entry, right? Maybe increasing government support or lowering certain like taxations or compliances. Not say lowering, but finding a way to make it easier for startups to get started, right? And maybe even to fail without feeling the shame of failing. I think that's also important. So incentives from government would be one thing that would be useful. In Singapore, we have that. We have the government actually sets up, an entity that supports entrepreneurs, right? People to start up. So they give them a fund. If they apply for it, then they get the grant. Yeah. So the government actually back these initiatives up just to encourage young people to become entrepreneurs as well. So I think all these different approaches coming together would help to motivate, young people to become entrepreneurs, yeah, going forward. So I think it's not just one answer, but a lot of things need to happen for that to happen as well.
As for Mr. Soy Makara, do you have anything to add on to this?
Yeah, I agree with Evan. There are many factors involved, so I think part of the knowledge, expertise, more engagement from company, university. Apart from this, is also family as well. I see recently, not all, but I see some parents, ignore the importance of education as well. So no matter whether you go for entrepreneurship or something else, but education is the important factor for them to consider. So if the family really pay attention to education, I think society will change. So I think if everyone have prioritized this, the society will change. Cambodia will improve as well. Yeah, thank you.
As for Ms. Theng Sokleap, do you have anything to comment or add on regarding these questions?
I think it's hard to define what is the right approach because it's depending on who is doing it. But I think the only one thing that I want to say for those out there who has something that they want to do to innovate or for young entrepreneurs who just start, because I think you just do it. You probably did not find it or success in the first one, but you just do it, learn from it, and motivations come in first, but what keeps you going is disciplines. So I think that it would help you, like you start within something that really empowering you, but for a long time it probably reduces, but what's really keep you going, it's probably disciplines, habit it, and keep learning. And I think that's what I can give for now.
Thank you for the insightful answer. Now, because of time constraint, I think this should be the end. I would like to do a closing remarks for this webinar. As we come to the conclusions of today's insightful discussion, I would like to take a moment to express my great gratitude to our distinguished three speakers for sharing their valuable insights and their expertise. And your contributions have shed light on the incredible potential of Cambodia youth and in driving innovation and economic progress as well. So tonight's discussion has highlighted both the opportunities and challenges for young innovators and entrepreneurs face, and more importantly, the strategies and support systems can help them succeed. And it is evident that collaboration between academic institutions, business, and policymakers is extremely crucial in creating the environment where young people can thrive. And to all young makers and aspiring entrepreneurs in the audience, I hope you feel inspired and empowered to take bold steps toward innovation and progress. Your ideas, determination, and passion are the driving force that will shape Cambodia's future economy. And on behalf of Anchor Social Innovation Park, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to all speakers and attendees and organizers for making this event a success. Let us continue working together to support and uplift the next generation of innovators. Thank you once again for joining us. And before we leave, I would like to, on the count of three, I would like to do a quick photo session of our meeting real quick. So I'm starting to count from 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, guys.
Thank you, Puthi, and
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Thank
me,
you.
and
Thank
nice to
you.
meet you all.
Thank you. Yeah, enjoy it.